Lounge 2. Hope Dentro and Sammy had a good cast. Hope the games were epic, and we'll certainly make sure to catch the VOD of those games. But we're back. It's our first quarterfinal, semi-final, quarterfinal,
Semi-final. Hi,
semi-final.
Karif, you have changed a lot over the summer. We did not have a lot of epic games, but I'm sure all of those games were very rare. The teams are already in the lobby. The casters also seem to be in the lobby. Stefan is probably not the captain, but he is a substitute player of Facepalm Tacticians, who have only 4 players on their main roster.
Yeah. So these two teams, they are both from Division 7, so we've got an all Division 7 semi-final here. They did play each other in the regular season as well, and Kwak-A-Mole did take that series 2-0. The first game looked very close, 11 kills apiece, but the second game, Kwak-A-Mole looked to have stepped up a gear, and they went 18-1 in kills. So it looks like Facepalm Tacticians could end up trying to get their revenge here, Josh.
Well, let's see if they will be able to do it. Also, to note, Kwak-A-Mole are currently on a 4-game win streak when casted by me. They have won 3 games on a Thursday, sweeping up their group to get to their first seed before beating out Unleashed in the quarterfinals right on the stream. So, Kwak-A-Mole, not a stranger to marathons, and I believe that now the tiredness starts kicking in, the lack of time to prepare starts kicking in, because instead of being preparing for a day or several days, you have only a game. You have only the time while uh, the different quarterfinals is broadcasted over the stream to prepare. So the level
Yeah.
of preparation definitely is smaller, but you do get some time and you do get some innate knowledge because you have played against each other in the regular season. So
Yeah, and there's lots of there's a few overlaps in hero pools. Obviously, Johanna, which we all talk about throughout the regular season, but the latest patch did slightly address her sort of oppressiveness with altering her D, and obviously the level 20 upgrade on Bless Shield was the real sort of power spike for Johanna. So they changed that. It looks like both teams like ETC. They've most played tank on both sides. So I'll have to find out how they go and how they sort of whether some teams will try and counterban or counter pick, and it can change your draft, and sometimes you need to just forget it and draft yourselves and draft your own team and what you know, as opposed to trying to counter draft and things.
well, I believe that because the level of preparation is going to drop significantly later into the playoff bracket, because you just can't prepare for everyone, you will start drafting more and more for yourself and not try to ban out your opponents that much. But I still believe that there will be a bunch of drafts directed at each other. For example, Kwak-A-Mole have a lot against themselves, a lot of Johanna bans against themselves as well.
Yep, absolutely. But we head into the draft of this first semi-final. Now it's still best of 3, guys. It's the grand final that is the different one, and there's no winners advantage, etc. So the grand final will be a best of 5, but these 2 semi-finals that will be on this channel will be best of 3.
And we actually have 11 Tessner bans against Facepalm Tacticians, which is an somewhat spicy pick of 100% win rate for the FPT players. And there is 10 Vala bans against them, but it's going to be Hanzo that's taken out first by the FPT crew themselves.
Yeah, Hanzo 9 picks, 88% win rate. So Kwak-A-Mole do like the Hanzo, and on this map as well, Hanzo with the wave clear, you fight around the shrines. You've got a lot of interrupts with your scatter arrow, the sonic arrow for vision control. It is a good hero on the map as well. But on the other side, we see Valor being banned out, and that's their most picked hero on the side of Facepalm Tacticians.
Oh, I see. You finally looked over the stats, and I don't need to find any information and can just broadcast my dumb opinions. Nice. So, I mean, both of those work quite well. We do know that Toons of Spider Queen, notoriously a small map, a lot of brawling may be there, but usually teams prefer to take it a little bit laid back because every fight is a chance to lose, and if you lose a fight, you are being set back a lot. So not a stranger to low kill scores this map, but we will see how explosive it can be. The EDC being bent out on the left versus Kwak-A-Mole, and EDC having 10, I believe 11 already, because they have picked some EDCs in the quarterfinals. And that's Johanna ban to finish out our ban stage with a quick first
Yeah,
hit
but
on
you leave
Tesla.
that Tassadar open, as you mentioned, and they're going to instantly lock in the Tassadar. Now, as Yosh already mentioned, this is 100% win rate. They haven't lost on this hero yet. It's been banned out 11 times against them in the regular season as well. So obviously, they're going to bet all their money on this Tassadar pick. Speaking of betting, there should be a contest up in chat if one of the kind moderators would like to arrange it. And you can get your betting on exclamation mark points, how many points you've got, and then you can exclamation mark bet A for the team in blue, FPT, and exclamation mark bet B for Kwak-A-Mole.
Malganis and Greyman chosen up on the right. Malganis has been brought up in every single 2 games that I have casted today, and he has been quite solid, especially in the performance of Lizzie Dwarf versus Unleashed in the quarterfinals, being probably the one hero that won the game for Kwak-A-Mole.
Yeah, and then they do pick up their Diablo and Reyna. So the Diablo, they haven't played it that often this season though, Yosh. In fact, they haven't picked it at all. So this is a new strat they must have been practicing with or playing with. If they do practice or not, we don't know, obviously. So
Well,
how do you
look,
think it will do into Malganis?
I don't know. I think that Malganis has a bit of an advantage over the Diablo, but you can just engage past Malganis, which is a big buff, and you can just hit Malganis away from your backline, which makes your backline a little bit easier to deal damage to the opponents, which
Yeah, but they've
does
also
help a lot.
yeah, but the issue, Facepalm Tacticians have locked in both their damage dealers now, so rightfully so. We see healer bands coming out. There's the Anduin and then the Rhaegar. So it leaves, Malfurion, which Transparent in chat likes to talk about how Malfurion and Morganis work well together quite often. But it is a very nice pick with the Morganis as well. Obviously, Sleep Anna's still open as well. I'm surprised that Anna wasn't sort of prioritized. Doesn't seem to be
mean,
prioritized in the in this Rare Cup.
to be fair, neither team has picked a lot of mages so far, and banning Rhaegar is absolutely correct versus a Greymane comp, which did not show their healer yet. Kel'Thas and Leoric now open up an opportunity for an Ana on the right. The opportunity of an Ana on the left is working quite well because Tessler can do a lot of damage, but I don't think that there is a lot of values that Ana could have gotten quite yet, and banning Anduin is probably the right option, especially thinking about how well Anduin can work with the Devils, saving him
Yeah.
from bad engages.
Absolutely. And there's our last 2 picks. It's going to be Imperius and Decade. So obviously Imperius, an extremely strong hero, especially at level 7, Flash of Anger. But what you do suffer with Imperius is your lack of wave clear. So off lane, Leo, you would expect to out-rotate, but later in team fights, perhaps Imperius can turn the tide with his spear.
We have actually talked about this with Karis. Tell me, Aviator, if you have player clear, do you need wave clear?
If you have player clear, do you need wave clear?
Yes.
Okay. True. Actually, you don't need to wave clear if you just kill them all, forehead. No, but yeah, it could be an issue. The other team could capitalize on it and sort of have better rotations. But as you say, team fights could favor. But which draft has it for you, Yosh?
That is a good point actually, because I don't know, they seem quite equal. I don't. Leoric at level 20 can just win a game based off of one button, which we have seen a bunch. But Leoric's Entomb is also kind of a playground for a Deeble, so a bad Entomb can pretty much force an engage against them.
Yep.
Which is quite bad. I think I will still believe in the quintessential Division 7 hero this season, apparently, Imperius, and just say that FPT take map number 1.
Yeah, I think FBT might take it as well, and we'll find out as we head into the game now shortly. But you say level 20 ultimates, you've also got Tassadar with that Twilight Archon, but
Ooh,
let's
that's a good point.
But let's introduce the teams. On the left side for Facepalm Tacticians, we have Jack Sully on the Diablo, Black Milk on the Deckard Cain, WS Dragon on Imperius, Steppenwolf subbing in on Reyna, and Vidra on that Tassadar.
And on the right, trying to prove me wrong in the most ways possible, we have Kwak-A-Mole with Doom Redcoat playing as Tyrande, Bobhead Conyin on the Kel'Thas, Dizzy Dwarf playing as Mal'Ganis, Wave Manai choosing up the Leoric, and Herm on the Greymane.
Yep.
And let's see.
Game 1, ladies and gentlemen, in this best of 3 Division 7 semi-final. Excuse someone cutting my grass.
Well, while my co-caster is trying not to die, apparently, we are looking at the teams. We do see that FPT seem to be a little bit more bunched up as the Leoric has already moved to the offlane. And this early fight, not exactly an opportunity to kill people, although sometimes it does present itself and you have to just take it. Usually it's more of a case to just get some stone, get some stacks going. We do have 7 stacks for the Deebles. We do have 5 extra damage on the Q on the tester. So both of those gonna get started.
Yeah, and we see level 1 with talent-wise Exterminator on Jimmy, just to help with that wave clear. Obviously, you do have Tassadar, but with a Diablo and a Deckard Cain, you're not going to have too much wave clear over there. And we do see rotation from Jimmy to come down. He wants to rotate bot lane out of vision, but he was seen. And Greymane's going to spot this and just hide out here. So this is quite sneaky by the Greymane here, the woofer. They haven't yet realised.
And now they know. Now they know. Now Steppenwolf also knows that, but doesn't exactly matter when you are dead and can't exactly do a lot of things. WS Dragon will try to engage with a Q, but will instead receive a healthy dose of damage into the skull.
Yes, there's a quick 2 kills for Kwak-A-Mole there.
And yes, the team on the right continuing to get themselves closer and closer to victory. And lack of wave clear on the left side might be a problem. Banak, the usual substitute player for Facepalm Tacticians, has noted that it's the least amount of wave clears that he has seen on Facepalm Tacticians period. So that is
they are going to have this cap at the bottom side, and meanwhile Imperius lands a spear onto Leoric here, but Leoric just turns around and secures the kill onto Imperius. Jack Sully coming down now on the Diablo, trying to peel for his team. The root from Deckard Cain, but it's not enough, and Jack Sully taking a lot of punishment there from that Kel'Thas.
And Kwak-A-Mole continue getting kills, continue getting advantages on the map. Slight push with the camp as well, as one of the siege giants was not defeated yet. Gonna be defeated now, but still gets a bunch of damage into the tower down bot.
Yeah, damage numbers now. We see Greymane sort of topping the charts on his team, obviously weaving in those auto attacks consistently. 6,000 damage. On the other side, Tassadar at 4k. But obviously, the blue team does scale with that Tassadar at level 1. They're currently at 35 stacks of his static charge. So it will stack up.
These dwarves gonna get caught out, but not enough damage on the side of FPT. However, WS Dragon finds a Q on Tyrande, and that will be the death of an elf as FPT finally gets themselves on the board. These dwarf not willing to die, but the support is taken instead.
Yeah, absolutely. The spear from Imperius seems to be crucial in these plays from Facepalm Tacticians. Seems to be so the idea behind it, I suppose, is land the spear, and then you're going to have Diablo charge to set up, or Diablo flip into spear late game as well. So there's lots of things they can do here. Dizzy Dwarf is just going to get that interrupt here in the top side, trying to deny Jack Sully paying in his gems.
And that's
Alpha Tyrande interrupting again.
Kwak-A-Mole getting Dizzy Dwarf on the Mal'Ganis into the Spider Queen. You can be so annoying, you can interrupt forever pretty much, and unless the enemy team has enough damage, you are not going to die, which it has shown us that there is not enough damage yet. The hard camp is gonna get taken by both teams, and Kwak-A-Mole slightly quicker on that one, and they are starting to set up for the first wave of warriors.
Yeah, level 7 is going to be in momentarily here for Kwak-A-Mole, so they could try and press advantage with this small thing and try and secure their first pay-in of the game. Leoric gets his gems through. They just need 4 more gems to pay in. Greymane's channeling, not interrupted, and they secure their first web weavers of the game.
And they are going to move from the right to the left as we see Jack Sully trying to engage in Doom Redcoat, but This dwarf coming into the rescue, Herm doing some damage over the wall on top of Vidra, but the shields from level 4 will defend the tester quite nicely.
Yeah, big skirmish in the mid lane. Obviously, they do have the spell armor camp here, so they're trying to push their advantage with that camp. But meanwhile, the stun coming out from Tyronda here. The Morganis going in as well onto Vidra on the Sassadar, trying to get away. Diablo interrupting Morganis' sleep. But Vidra still taking a lot of damage here, and Kalthas secures the kill there.
And that's a fourth one for Kwak-A-Mole, who continue just going in WS Dragon being the next target of the team in red and will actually fall down.
Cocktail over the wall. That's always a feels bad when you think you're going to live and you get behind your gate and then Greyman comes out of nowhere and says, nope, and gets to secure the kill there. 5 kills to 1, and the Web Weavers are coming down here hard on this mid lane. Top lane was defended by Reyna, but they are going to lose this mid fort.
Let's not forget that it's not only the mid lane you're losing, but it's also the bot lane where Waveman has basically no resistance whatsoever in taking down this fort. 2 structures down on the first Waveweaver wave. Quite nicely done by Kwak-A-Mole, I'd say.
Yeah, Kwak-A-Mole with their with their good advantage there from that first Web Weaver paying. Typically, you don't see many forts go down, but they secure 2 forts with their pay-in. So, really well played, and it gets them closer to level 10 as well. About half a level lead in experience now for Kwak-A-Mole.
And the interrupt comes out on Dizzy Dwarf. Neither team has, well, the blue team has enough gems to turn in, but they are not exactly looking to do it just yet. With this Dwarf firmly securing the top capture point under his grasp, not allowing anyone to get the gems in.
Yeah, bot camp was taken up by the Leoric there, left alone, doing his sneaky shenanigans. So this will be pushing out in the bot lane, and it is going to have to force a response from someone from Facepalm Tacticians. We see Tassadar and Imperius go down.
I mean, there usually is some merit to allowing the offlaner to just do offlane things and then fight in 5v4, but when you are losing the 5v4, probably wanna do something with the offlane as well. The engage comes out on Jack Sully, but there will be not enough follow-up, and the engage is quickly dropped. Waveman gonna get locked in with Vidra, although is it this way around or the other way around?
Yeah, and we do see level 10s are in for both teams, so it is going to be that Bullet, Entomb, Carrion Swarm, and Pyroblast from Kalthas into Starfall as well from Tyronda. And this we see Hyperion, Stay a While and Listen, Apocalypse, Archon, and of course, Angelic Armaments.
I do see a Starfall, an Orange, the Carrion Swarm, Entomb, and the Curse Bullet, so Starfall is a little bit interesting because that's not an ultimate I see often.
Tassadar there with the Pyroblast coming out.
As well as the Entomb will secure the kill on the Vidra, and that's going to be 6-1. However, WS Dragon trying to go in, the sleep will get interrupted by the E of the Imperious. Herm having no HP but still going in. Black Milk doesn't exactly have enough damage to kill the Greyman, who will just walk out of everything. Steppenwolf a little bit overstepping there, but will not get punished too hard for it.
Steppenwolf overstepping, I like it. But they do secure the kill. It was a good interrupt on the Carrion Swarm. Deca K managed to get the interrupt on the Carrion Swarm there with his ultimate. So nice timing by him, but it wasn't enough to save his team members, as obviously one did go down.
And yeah, so far Kwak-A-Mole just playing well, and I don't think that Waveweaver wave will do much. However, Facepalm Tacticians trying to get something on the map. 5 men in the bot lane, trying to get that keep down. That fort down, trying to get that wall down, trying to acquire something to play off. Because you can win the game as long as you have an avenue to winning, but you need to secure that way to get to the enemy core after you win a team fight first. And starting off with a fort is a quite nice idea.
Yeah, so they secure their fort, obviously, making sure that they get some sort of advantage or some benefit from the Web Weavers there. So level 13s are going to be in for Kwak-A-Mole, and they do have a pay-in available to them as well. So it's going to be a tricky situation for Facepalm Tacticians. They need to decide what they want to do here. Obviously, they could try and get Leoric, but Leoric being Leoric can just spooky ghost walk out to safety. And it looks like bot side's just going to be channeled through for the pay-in. No, it's not actually. They scout out that they're doing the hard camp here. It's just Reyna and Tassadar doing the camp, and Herm comes out with the bullet onto Tassadar. Goes in. Meanwhile, they're in the backline. Jack Sully going in onto the Auric, but the Pyroblast coming out, and Steppenwolf gets taken down by that Pyroblast.
Well, sometimes oranges aren't exactly healthy, and the engage from WS Dragon on Waveman Eye seems to be looking like more of a Hail Mary one. We do see the Angelic Armament pressed, but the shield is popped and the Imperius is cleared out, taken as a sacrificial lamb of sorts in this teamfight.
Yep, absolutely. So it is 2 kills to nothing in that team fight. Now, Web Weavers still a pay-in to be had for them. So they're taking the advantage here, getting the keep wall, and then they look to retreat and try and get the pay-in here. It looks like Kalthas didn't get the memo here, so he wants to overstep here. Diablo goes in, but doesn't land the wall stun on him.
And with that, the mid keep wall is destroyed. The top lane still has a fort standing, which is quite interesting to me, but no, but I don't think that Kwak-A-Mole have plans for a trophy just yet. Instead,
No.
they're gonna get another wave of Evivers, and we'll try to set up something with Sam, with those.
Yep, 13s are in now for Facepalm Tacticians. This isn't the even talent tier fight. They've only got 1 kill so far on the board. Can they try and get another one here? Vidra on that hostile needs to be careful here, not really respecting Dizzy Dwarf as Diablo goes in, flips a Dizzy Dwarf. Can they secure the kill though? Imperius goes in, lands a stun. Big stay a while and listen here. Steppenwolf comes down from the Rhea with a flank there, trying to get some damage in. Dizzy Dwarf does have his ultimate available. But Tassadar with that Archon just sieging away on these heroes. But Jack Sully though taking a lot of damage here. Apok coming out. Can they secure the kill on the red team? It looks like Jack Sully's going to be taken down. Pyroblast coming out. No soul shield from him. And he gets taken down. Next looks like Blackmail's going to be taken down on that Deckard Kane. Dibos Draken tries to continue this. Goes back in with his Q. But it looks like his efforts are in vain. And he gets taken down as well.
Sleep on Vidra, and that could potentially be the next target of an engage from Kwak-A-Mole, but it looks like that Mal'Ganis will do this as a solo kill. Take him down the board. Jack Sully gonna get reset. He's not that tanky. He's popped up in seconds. And the GGs come out from FPT already, which does mean that the morale is not looking too great. And I have seen FPT members in chat choking to just giving the series away, which I definitely do not. I definitely think that the teams are not doing that, and that's a joke. And I also want the teams to have a legit game. So far, the main problem to me seems that the carries of FPT are not exactly able to find the engages, not exactly able to find the backline.
No, but the core goes down. It's GG, well played. The first series going over to Kwak-A-Mole. So, well played to Kwak-A-Mole there. You know, the early game sort of looked a bit back and forth, but then they just sort of steamrolled with kills early, using Greymane to great effect, really, especially after level 10 when he had that bullet. You could just, you know, Greymane into Diablo with bullet is always a feels bad. Currently does what, 35% of your current HP? So it's a bit yikes when you're playing a Diablo, and especially when you get your souls reset as well. So it is a feels bad, but well played to Kwak-A-Mole. And obviously, Facepalm Tacticians aren't out. They showed life in Game 1, and we will be heading into Game 2 shortly.
Yep, I think the main problem for FPT, as I have already said, is the fact that their carries seem to be a little bit weirdly positioned. They aren't exactly able to harass the backline of their opponents, while the opponents can do the same to them. And Mal'Ganis is a very great pick for Dizzy Dwarf. I am actually expecting that to get bent out because the amount of pressures that he has put and the amount of disarray that he has uh, put into Facepalm Tacticians has been overwhelming, at least in game number 1.
Yeah, but as you said, you mentioned the Imperius in Division 7, Yosh, and you bet on the Imperius. Looks like we were both wrong, because I bet on Facepalm Tacticians as well there. Obviously, with the Imperius, I counted on them sort of steamrolling it, but it seems that the casters were both wrong in this case.
Well, should have bet on the Mal'Ganis instead. I knew what this dwarf was capable of after they have dismantled Unleashed on Tomb in the quarterfinal, but
Yeah, but you can see the map bans on screen now, and we didn't cover these off in game 1. There was no time. We had to jump straight into the action. So yeah, you could see them on screen just there. We did get Brax's holdout. Oh, I see what I'm doing now. We see Brax's holdout being banned out. Dragonshire being banned out, obviously, by Harm. Facepalm Tacticians then we went. I can't speak for some reason. Facepalm Tacticians banned out Infernal Shrines, and we saw us going to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yep. And that was a map pick for FPT, which, when you lose a map that you have picked, it is quite sad, but it does allow you to pick the first pick for the next map, which FPT will decide to not go for as they take Altrak for our second map.
Altrak Pass is the second map. Now, I actually hate this map with a passion.
Wow.
I detest it. I honestly, it's just one of those maps that just goes on forever, right? It just feels that you can never end, or I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It feels like when I'm playing it, I just really don't like the map. I'm just not a fan. It's so monotonous as well. I suppose all the maps are pretty similar, but it's yeah. For me, I just don't particularly enjoy this map. What about you, Yosh? Are you a fan of Altrak?
And no, I actually quite like Altrak. It's not a hard map to figure out the macro for, which does mean that the most important measure in macro game is just trying to read your opponent and trying to play those mind games. And I quite enjoy that because as a low division player, I do not exactly have the entire concept of macro game grasp perfectly, but on Altrak, it's almost as easy as just take the camp on cooldown and you're free. And
Yes, that's what I dislike
for the
about it, I
rest of the
think.
time, you're just running around the map, trying to outplay your opponent and trying to outthink your opponent, which is an action that anyone can do and is probably the thing that I like the most. Also, the bosses on this map have featured a bunch of very interesting moments, and I like casting those.
Yeah, I think the boss pits definitely. I saw you cast an earlier one, and you said that's why it's called the throw pit, and indeed, it 100% was the throw pit on that map. But yeah, it's a nice clip as well. And speaking of clips, guys, if you see anything, obviously Heroes Lounge in the Discord have opened up the clip archive channel for you all to view now. It's no longer strictly reserved for casters and staff, so you can paste away your clips from your Heroes Lounge games, your POV, your casters, whatever. So if you see a good clip, clip it, post it, and if you're not on Heroes Lounge Discord, !Discord will take you there.
For example, you can press the clip button right now, type in chat as the name of the clip, and send it because, yes, teams seem to be in the lobby, teams seem to start going through the ready check, so we should be on our merry way soon.
So, game at number 2. What do you think Facepalm Tacticians need to do differently besides the obvious, which is just win um, in those in the game, Yosh?
I think play a little bit cleaner. Maybe ditch the attempts of going in on the opponent and try to play a little bit more laid back, try to play a little bit more defensively and melee, if that makes sense. Just wait for the opponent to engage and try to re-engage yourself because the Diablo plan in map number 1 clearly did not work out. You need to find something else.
Yeah, perhaps this sort of synergy with the Diablo who wants that sort of aggressive engage with the Imperius. But then I think the Tassadar and Reyna were played very well as well. It was just the fact that Kwak-A-Mole just stepped up their game and seemed to play it really well. Obviously, this is the first semi-final, so the second semi-final will be up after this game, potentially if this goes 2-0.
And yeah, so Facepalm Tacticians are ready as well as their opponents.
So guys, the draft coming up now, ! Points in chat will tell you how many points you've got, and you can obviously bet on the games. ! Bet A and a number of points for the team in blue, Facepalm Tacticians, and ! Bet B and the number of points for the team on the right hand side in red, which is Kwak-A-Mole or Kwak-A-Mole actually. I think that's what I'm going to call them.
Sounds a little bit better, but it's actually more like Kwak-A-Murky if you are looking at their logo. But jokes aside, we do have our draft screen up. And what would you focus on if you are playing on Ultra Pass? What would be your bans? Are you gonna try to ban something against your opponent, or are you trying to ban something that's just very good on this map?
I mean, I think from the last game, I think the Grey Mane was played to sort of great effect, right, for them, and it's one of the
Mhm.
most comfort picks on the side of Kwak-A-Mole. So with 12 picks and 91% win rate, I feel like they need to address that, either ban it out or try and deny the pick for them, because they first picked it on Tomb. It's also good on this map because you can solo the camp as well, or go off with the support usually and do it quite quick. So I feel like they need to address the Grey Mane from the last game.
Well, the first ban is definitely going into the hands of Kwak-A-Mole because the map was chosen by Facepalm Tacticians. And funny thing about choosing map, usually I hear that people choose the map if they have a setup for it. If they have something cheesy, maybe something that works very well for them on the map, they will try to pick that exact map. So, what kind of cheese, what kind of secret strategy might be there on Altruck?
Cheese strats. I mean, Vikings can always come out. I feel like Vikings are a legit OP at the moment. I don't know why, but all I see is like the three Vikings 1v9 in my game, and it's so frustrating actually. But yeah, you see a
Have
lot
you
of solo
tried
lane.
to stop playing Vikings and play other heroes for a change?
But it's quite so I think Vikings could always come out, and then obviously Abatha in a larger map as well. But we do see the Valor being banned out again as the Hanzo, but this time they changed the ban. They're banning out Anduin a little bit earlier here.
We don't like the chads over here. Oof. Kwak-A-Mole coming out with the hate on the casters. And yeah, let's see. Anduin banning out Anduin a little bit earlier does show a little bit of adaptation, which is a thing that I always like looking at. And the ban from the left will be a Mal'Ganis. So choosing to
Yeah,
respect my advice instead of yours there, which
yeah.
not sure if that is the correct strategy to go for, but it is
It does
one of the
leave
strategies.
Yeah, it does leave the ETC open as well, and they do like it. But no, they are going to insta-pick the Grey Mane. As I said, it worked to great effect for them in game number one. Unsurprisingly, it's been prioritized here. But you do leave up the ETC for Jack Sully, and he insta-locks this. Now, this is their most picked tank. 9 picks, 88% win rate. So, in the big dancing cow they trust, it seems.
Well, a good mosh pit definitely can turn every game upside down, and on level 20, even if you are doing badly, you can pick up a death mosh for yourself. Steppenwolf picking up the Imperius, not the offlaner that played the offlane in game number one, which is interesting because Steppenwolf has played the Rainer and now they are switching up a little bit.
Yeah, you can always swap it around. Obviously, this is a custom game, so at the end you can just swap your heroes. But they are betting on the Imperius again. They obviously seem to like it. It suits them. They want it. But on the other side, we see Johanna and Leoric. So similar drafts, except tank changes so far.
Speaking of the ultimates that wins the game, right? Uh, Leoric at level 20 can pretty much win the game based off a one good button press. Same can be said with the Johanna, and of course, if you see one of the dogs, you ban the other dog out to not let it out. And there's a Rega ban from FPT.
Yeah. The Rhaegar again, they didn't like playing into it, but it's not. It's quite interesting since Rhaegar's fallen off quite heavily, really, from the meta. You know, sort of pre last patch, he was always sort of first picked. But they do, and Cassia as well. Now Cassia, I feel like is still oppressive to play into. She only had a 5% damage nerf across her sort of baseline stats, so I feel like that needs to be addressed, and they did ban it.
And yeah, meanwhile, Orial subscribed to tier 1 with a 35 months streak. Thanks for supporting this entire competition thingy. And yeah, let's look what's happening out there. Lunara and Brightwing are picked up. Black Milk actually is one of the Brightwing aficionados, and Lunara can be very, very annoying on some maps, including this one, because it's such a big playground for a speedy deer to hippity hoppity her way out of everything.
Yeah, they do like playing Brightwing. They played it 6 times, and they have won some games on it as well. So some might say surprisingly, others might not. It depends if you like Brightwing or not as your support. And obviously, on a big map like this, you are going to get some global value. But we do see the speed boost Lucio, or as Karis would say, it's the healing version of Tracer. And then we have the Jaina as well paired up with them. So, Entomb, Bullet, Ring of Frost, or is this going to be Water Elemental?
Now, riddle me this: is this going to be a high five?
No. No, it's not going to be a high five, Yosh.
Because Kwak-A-Mole has actually played a high five in the groups and they have got a win on it. So high five, 100% win rate in the Rare Cup so far.
So it could be a high five then. Perhaps I'm wrong. But I hope it's not a high five, because although it would help with the Imperious stun, right? So this is slide into Imperious, and then you've just got Lunara and Reyna for the sort of sustain. There's not much burst damage on that side, so
And yeah, this time around, WS Dragon is going to be playing Raynor, and indeed that's Steppenwolf playing on the Imperious, picking up the offlaner this time around, which
yes.
might leave me wondering if they just forgot to swap for game number one, which would have been a pretty rare cup thing to do, but a pretty tilting thing to do as well.
Yeah, it could happen there. You can mix it up. But guys, last chance to get your bets in. Make sure you get them in, as the betting will close shortly. So, game number 2, Yosh. Who has it for you on draft?
Game number two, I have been taught by time to not bet against Kwak-A-Mole, so I bet on the Imperious again.
Okay. So let's introduce the teams. On the left side for Facepalm Tacticians, we have Steppenwolf on the Imperious this time round, Black Milk on Brightwing, Jack Sully on the ETC, WS Dragon on Reyna, and Vidra on Lunara.
And on the right, trying to get to the finals in 2 games despite me rooting against them every single time. We have Kwak-A-Mole with Doom Redcoat on Lucio, Herm on the Greymane, Dizzy Dwarf playing the Leorix this time around, Wavemanai on Jaina, and Bobhead Conin on the Johanna.
Yeah, talents coming in is going to be Exterminator on Jimmy for level 1, so he's going to help out with that camp clear, and obviously just try and mirror where the Greymane goes. So you're going to see Greymane and Lucia go off to take the camps continuously on cooldown, and you should expect maybe Reyna and Brightwing to go and do the same.
And a mount cooldown reduction down for the Brighton, which does make sure that the offlane probably gonna be a big target of the Brighton jumps in the meantime. Brightwing passive is called You Win the Offlane, because it just teleport on the other offlaner, polymorph the opponent, and get a free kill that way. Meanwhile, Doom Redcoat gonna get a little bit caught out by Vidra, and Dahlia's Dragon lose half of his HP. Nothing that some music can't fix, some sick beats to chill and study with.
Yes, but we see a slide onto Jaina there in the mid lane. It may have overstepped her mark. The Brightwing damage coming out. Brightwing damage, by the way, coming out, but it's not enough onto the Jaina, and Jaina walks away.
Man, you're only laughing before the Brightwing damage kills you to death.
I mean, yeah, Brightwing. Bot side, we do see Imperious just trying to take the lane, Johanna coming down, and we do see the camps being taken. It's going to be Lucio and Jaina actually going to take it. Now, Jaina pre sort of level 4 without that Pierce or the CDR. It does take quite a while to do the camp, and it's quite mana hungry, so could have probably seen Jaina go up top lane to release the Greymane to come back and do the camp just a little bit quicker, but obviously they will manage. On the other side, it's going to be Lunara and Brightwing to do the camp.
Well, and that's how you do the macro on this map. You take the camp as early as possible, whenever possible, and then you just play the game. Really. That
Top lane
teleport
there, we
comes
see
out on the
Reyna.
bot, and there's an engage on Bobhead Conin potentially, but Iron Skin is pressed. Dizzy Dwarf not gonna get engaged upon because everyone knows how Zelioric can just spooky walk away from everything. And this charge will be dropped.
Yeah, someone's going to have to rotate mid there to deal with this camp that's coming up, and we do see Lunara and Brightwing coming up. You do see sliding in aggressively there, not quite getting anything. Probably thankfully so, actually, but obviously Johanna doesn't really have her engage pre-level 10. Obviously just a slow and the condemn coming out. Slide again though, aggressively going into the Jaina. Steppenwolf coming up, Polymorph coming out as well, and Jaina falling extremely low, but she's able to get healed up and speeded out by Lucio.
And getting extremely low and not dying is going to be a recurring theme because the teams knows that while you are not dead, you can get healed back up. So just don't die, lol. And yeah, Jack Sully moving to the offline, not sure why. Potentially trying to get some quick push before moving for the enemy objective while their attention is split. But as of now, the team's just running around collecting experience. slight XP lead on the side of Kwak-A-Mole, however.
Yeah, and this is why you want to do the camp as early as possible, because the camp will be up for both teams. We might see an engage again. Need to see sliding in, landing the slide onto Greyman and Jaina this time, but Lucio did secure the channel for the camp here. Steppenwolf taking a lot of damage here, condemned back into the Jaina Blizzard here. Are we going to see first blood? But no, he's able to get queued out. Meanwhile, though, you do see Rainer getting body blocked there by Dizzy Dwarf.
No, that was actually Rainer body blocking the Leoric while the latter was receiving damage from the tower.
Oh.
Yes. In Division 7, you can see Rainer body blocking the Leoric. Sign up.
Okay.
By the way, signups for the next season of Heroes Launch is still open. I think you can just go on heroeslaunch.gg and sign your team up for this.
Yeah, but we do see the camp being channeled now. The objective being channeled by the blue team, stepping up, whilst Greymane is left on the camp here. But they are going to take this camp and come down to try and defend this objective. Otherwise, this objective is going to be given over for free. And we see Jaina trying to come down on the flank side. Johanna coming down with her now. Dizzy Dwarf getting the channel in. We see Johanna stepping up the ETC side again, though. Meanwhile, the Imperius double the Q onto two people there. And Doom Redcoat falling extremely low on Lucio. Brightwing going to be able to heal up Jack Sully here. And it looks like the red team are having to retreat. Jaina might even get killed here by the Lenara poison. Is it enough? 8 health, 9 health. And she's able to live, but obviously this means the blue team are going to get the objective through, and they are going to get the kill onto Dizzy Dwarf. Surely. Surely Dizzy Dwarf dies. Surely. Oh my god.
Kwak-A-Mole, aka 8 HP esports. So, Facepalm Tacticians get the camp despite their enemies refusing to die at all. And the objective. Let's see how this will go.
Yeah, the fact that nobody died in that team fight is a bit of a crime, to be honest. But the more scaling we have, the more damage Lenara will be able to put out, obviously, with the poison. So hopefully they'll be able to get the kill. We see Greymane just dashing out there to pick up the stealth at level 4, just to make sure that he's able to E out for safety.
I mean, kills are only there for casters who can't make the game entertaining to make the game entertaining, like me. So... in the top lane, we do have a bunch of structures falling down, and I don't know what to talk about because I am a bad caster. Speaking of, Jack Sully trying to get a catch on Herm, but it will be FPT who are getting engaged on with Doom Redcoat.
Yeah, big cleanse from Brightwing coming out there and trying to teleport onto Rainer, but it's not enough, and Rainer gets taken down there. It was a really nice cleanse though. It was like insta cleanse on the condemn. But Lenara then with that choking pollen at level 7, so not opting for this more common splintered spear.
Well, sometimes people just want to do more damage with the Q instead of trying to do more damage to more people. Well, it happens. The camp is up. The camp will get taken down slowly but surely by Herm on the right and by WS Dragon alongside Vidra on the left. Low dance are in place, and that is indeed a high five. 100% win rate in the Rare Cup. Yeehaw!
I mean, potentially it might not be 100% win rate in the Rare Cup because they could lose, and then your statistic is ruined. And I kind of hope they lose for picking high five. No, I'm kidding, of course. But we see an engage onto the Imperius here. The Entomb coming out, but he manages to cue over the wall. The Ring of Frost not quite landing either. And Imperius is able to heal it by Brightwing. Meanwhile, ETC comes down, but the slide just slightly missing there. And no one died again in the bot lane.
And everyone's dodging everything, and no one's dying. Because HP doesn't matter, apparently. A little bit of push in the bot lane by FPT. The team has been kind of sneakily getting ahead while we are talking about how no one is dying in this game, apparently, for some reason. The team's still kind of equal on the XP, but a little bit of push there, a little bit of push here, and a little bit of Dizzy Dwarf killed in the offlane. The mosh pit, a little bit of an overreaction in my opinion, but if it gets a kill, it gets a kill, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it gets and it puts them on the board 1-to-1, level 11 v11 experience, pretty much identical at this point for the teams. And obviously, if you want to lose a hero, you don't mind it so much being Leoric, right? He's able to spawn back in the lane, and here we can see him. We do see Lucio coming down. High five value, by the way, onto Dizzy Dwarf. The Entomb coming out to Steppenwolf, the Blessed Shield on top of it, the bullet on top, and Steppenwolf gets taken down, stepping his way back to the Nexus.
And that's gonna hurt a little bit more because the objective has spawned right now, and there are still 20 seconds until Imperius. Doom Redcoat already in the mid lane to try and be annoying and potentially even get a cheeky cap.
Sliding again, but no quite follow-up from the damage dealers here. ETC keeps sliding in aggressively, so you need to watch out for that Blessed Shield or the Entomb turnaround, right? If ETC slides in with no mosh pit available, then he could end up being punished by the red team. But the channel is going to be taken here by Lucio, bullet coming out onto ETC, and ETC loses 35% of his current HP, Fear and Balanced Ultimate.
Well, it's only 30%, 30 seconds cooldown, so it's definitely balanced. The cleanse coming out on Herm, Seppen Wolf trying to kill Doom Redcoat, and it's actually this Dwarf who's dying once again. The Leoric gonna get put on a short cooldown, which he can reduce even further. But
but big stun from the Imperius coming out there, landing onto the Lucio, and Lucio, without the sound barrier, gets taken down. Oh, the slide by ETC and the knockback as well, and it's a disaster for Kwak-A-Mole. It looks like they were going to get out, but Facepalm Tacticians want to whack the Kwak-A-Moles.
Hey, that's the puns that I wanted to make. Okay,
I was waiting. I was like, I thought of it earlier when I saw which teams. I was like, how am I going to put that in? And I don't think I did it that well, but we'll come up with a better one soon,
yeah.
TM. But with that advantage, we are going to see the boss being taken here by Facepalm Tacticians. 3 members on the boss, and they're going to start channeling the objective as well, but not overstaying. So nice patience by them.
I'm surprised that Black Milk and Vidra have retreated that quickly. You could have spent another 5 seconds delaying, which would have allowed your team to get the boss even easily, because now you have to fight for it, and you don't exactly have a lot of ways to stop it. Except for maybe the Emerald Twin. The Lucio is dead, the Moshpit will hit 3, the Brightwing is dead already, Waveman gonna get timed out by the Lunara. However, this Dwarf not looking too healthy either, and FPT wins this fight. Using some facepalm tactics, apparently.
Yeah, that was it was almost a counter synergy there. ETC with the mosh pit, and then the Emerald Wind pushed Lucio off the boss point, whilst Imperius stunned him as well, and the Lucio just couldn't move his hero. And the Emerald Wind pushed him into the edge of the mosh pit as well, so it was like just the tip of the mosh catching the Lucio there. But they just secure the boss, and it looks like they're going to be able to secure their second objective of the game here.
Lucio, notably, is not able to high-five himself to get out of the mosh pit, and we are gonna see the timer restarted now at 20 seconds versus 17 of their opponents. And engages here on WS Dragons. The Entomb will be there, and the Emerald Wind will not be enough to save the Rainer.
No, and Rainer falls down, but it looks like the red team want more here. They're chasing down the ETC, the speed from Lucio coming out. Meanwhile, Steppenwolf on the Imperius turns in, trying to turn the fight with that Q from him. Pops his ultimate, trying to keep it alive here. Leoric just slowing them all. No Entomb available. Inara just putting out a lot of damage here. Greyman goes in on the Brightwing, trying to secure the kill, but it's actually Johanna that goes down. Jack Sully, meanwhile, trying to retreat, but Steppenwolf still going in here. 1v4 at the moment. It looks like he's going to get taken down, and does indeed.
And sometimes you just have to go 1v4 to try and kill them all, right? But
the Lunara damage there may have just killed the Greymane here. Oh no, but the high five value. Look at that. The heal there, able to heal up the Greymane.
Yes, finally.
Jack Sully gets to slide in, and it's Leoric. Dizzy Dwarf gets taken down again.
Nice as well as Vidra, just being allowed to run people down. The Lunara can definitely do those things. However, the speed coming out from Doom Redcoat will get Jaina to safety. And yeah, if there's anything that we know about Kwak-A-Mole is that they don't actually die. Don't look at the 10 kill stats, that's smearing. Anyway, the Raiders will start moving from the right to the left, as apparently Kwak-A-Mole have gotten the objective, and let's see how much damage will be put.
So Rainer not going paint them red at 16, but obviously he did go the sustaining rounds at 4, so obviously he gets double D at 16 with this bounty hunter, so he'll be able to heal up a little bit from that. But the paint them red, I think, would have kept him alive a little bit more, I think, in these fights. But then we do have high five, so what do I know? Oh, we see Imperius coming down with the stun though. The high five cleanse out onto Greymane there, cleansing out the Imperius cube. Right, when the pushback there, it looks like Greymane may have overstepped, but no. Rainer comes down there, but it's actually, the Jaina turns it around with a big ring of frost there, landing onto 3. The mosh pit trying to turn the tide there, but Steppenwolf goes down. It looks like Jack Sully's going to be next. It looked so good for Facepalm Tacticians, but in actual fact, Kwak-A-Mole said, hold my beer, guys, and let's turn this around.
Yeah, the fight definitely became a little bit too clumped together, and I think in those circumstances, it is the Ring of Frost, it is the Blessed Shield that work a little bit better. And in the end, Kwak-A-Mole get the fight, get the win, and to the victor goes the spoils. In this case, the throw pit.
Throw pit. I mean, I think this time it might not be the throw pit though. It looks like 3 members still on the deck for Facepalm Tacticians. I don't think there's enough time to contest this boss. But the question is, what do they do with it? Are they going to try and push with it? There's no talent tier advantage. But otherwise, this boss is just going to get cleared for free, so sometimes it feels bad.
And
when you
there's
take the
also
boss.
no second boss to chain into, which is also a popular play. Just go boss to boss, because the team has to defend the bosses. So while they defend the first boss, you take the second one, and then you push with the second one. But it does, in this case, just provide extra, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, while the enemy team is be pushing it, to get some push in other lanes. You can push in mid lane, you can push in top lane. And you can take the camp, which everyone has been neglecting for a while.
Yeah, even Yosh, you kept saying it, take the camp, take the camp. It looks like one of the teams is and one of the teams is not, but they are going to march down this mid fort and secure the second fort of the game. So it's fairly even in kills. We've got 10 kills to 9, experience slightly favouring Kwak-A-Mole. And obviously... Oh, did you see AA build from Leoric, by the way? I didn't realise that.
Ah, yeah, that's a thing that he went for in the first map as well.
Okay. It's a different person playing the Leoric this time, but obviously copying the same build from his teammates. We do see the camp now being taken by Kwak-A-Mole.
And just look how Kwak-A-Mole are baiting their opponents around the map. The enemies are up top, Kwak-A-Mole are in the bottom taking the objectives. The enemies are down bot, Kwak-A-Mole are up top clearing the camps. They are just one step ahead. And that's usually enough in these establishments in the Rare Cup.
Yeah, posturing aggressively here. Level 20 is going to be in sooner for Kwak-A-Mole, but obviously probably not enough time to stall it out for them. They do have their camp pushing in the mid lane as well, so as soon as someone from the blue team steps up to clear it, the red team is just going to try and collapse onto this objective. Jack slowly sliding in, lands a slide onto Johanna and Lucio, but Steppenwolf's Q interrupted actually by the Lucio boop. Well played by Doom Redcoat.
I think that was a face melt from the EDC, but do not quote me on that. Jack Sully with another Q interrupt, but this time around he's actually gonna get punished for it. A lot of damage put into the EDC, but Black Milk is here to save and disengage. WS Dragon, meanwhile, in the back end of the fight, losing a lot of HP due to Wave 9 and actually is going to die. Steppenwolf and Jack Sully not looking too great. The Entomb comes out on Vidra, dooming the Lunara. And with that, Kwak-A-Mole get another fight, and yep, indeed, those Tacticians.
Yeah, and level 20 is going to be in for them now, and this is what we mentioned. Does Lucio get a high 5 upgrade, by the way? I assume it's a high 5 upgrade, right? Is it good at 20? Does anybody know?
You start doing damage to the opponents.
You start doing damage to it? Oh, that's surely the alpha pick then. If you go high 5. But meanwhile, we see the camp being taken here. Mosh pit coming out, but Jaina with the ice block trying to defend it here. Lucio, I think, went for the high 5 value onto the Jaina, but got stuck in the mosh midway through there. But they do secure the kill onto ETC. Steppenwolf falling extremely low. Jaina with the Q through the wall, actually. But not enough to kill him. But they do secure this camp.
Well, Lucio will not pick the Chad level 20, but his team will go for the Chad tactic of stealing away the enemy's camp, leaving only one of the camps being taken on the map and the other one neglected for the last 10 minutes. The keep starts losing a lot of HP there, but Facepalm Tacticians are on top of it to defend. Unfortunately, that does mean that they are not on the objective, which does mean that Kwak-A-Mole yet another wave.
Yep, so Kwak-A-Mole with their 20 advantage here. 18 seconds still for ETC to spawn. What can they get done here? It looks like Lucio dancing around, being the mosquito that he is, buzzing around. The blessed shield coming out there. There's the silence in Tomb when the bullet on top of it. Brilliant play there by Kwak-A-Mole, and they secured the kill onto Reyna.
Yeah, the engage is on point, but now they only have the Ring of Frost, which is used. And now they don't have ultimates on them, except for the high 5, which Aviator is still hating on, apparently. So...
I mean... yeah. We see the keep being attacked here, obviously, with these. Greymane needs to be careful, though. Obviously, with that splash at 20, it's going to proc the keep attacking him. Meanwhile, the ETC sliding in onto Dizzy Dwarf. The high 5 value, though, saving Dizzy Dwarf there. Without high 5, surely he would have got taken down.
5 seconds until the Entomb. 4, 3, 2...
Yeah,
And
but
let's see
Dizzy
what
Wolf's taking
their
a lot of
thoughts.
damage here. Jack suddenly walks in, doesn't have Mosh Pit available for 10 more seconds, but they do secure the kill onto Lucio without the sound barrier here. Next, it looks like Dizzy Dwarf's going to get taken down, just put the Silencing Tomb out, but it's not enough for Dizzy Wolf, just healing up actually with that AA build, and Greymane turning around the fight onto Steppenwolf. The core's taking damage though, the core falling down to 10,000 HP.
Don't
Jack
need
suddenly
to
with the
win
Mosh
fight
Pit trying to zone them away.
It's going to be the things that Kwak-A-Mole are supposedly playing for. 2k HP on the core, 1k HP on the core, and the core is down. And that's going to be roll 3.
Well played to Kwak-A-Mole, who take the series 2-0. Guys, what a game. It looked like the early game was sort of favouring Facepalm Tacticians, and they showed new life in that game. Damage numbers, Lenara left untouched really in most of these team fights. 71,000 damage from her. She's top everything. Top C, top XP, and top hero damage. Feels bad from a solo point of view. But unfortunately, for Facepalm Tacticians, that is the end of the road for them. So I hope they've had a fantastic season. And guys, we've got our first finalist going in. It's a Division 7 team. Yosh, did you predict that in your prediction this morning?
Well, I did predict a Division 17 moving up from this part of the bracket, but it was Unleashed and not Kwak-A-Mole, so it is
Also,
still a Division 17 from that quarterfinal, and Pool 3 reigns supreme. We did have 3 teams from Pool 3 from Division 7 getting first place in the group, with, I believe, Unleashed being the only one who took second. They were promptly defeated, and that semi-final is actually both teams were from Division 7, and in the next one, Just Cause have a chance to sweep it for our lower division to prove that simple math is sometimes the correct.
yeah, but guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this 2-minute break when we'll have the second semi-final. And as we just mentioned, it's Britwing, it's Just Cause, it's Division 6 versus Division 7. So we could end up with an all Division 7 final potentially, guys. Don't go anywhere.